Hey everybody, welcome back to the Fin Factor. I'm Paul.
And I'm Aaron.
This is episode number 146. Aaron, coming off of a pretty good week.
Unfortunately, yes.
Yeah. Okay, a good bad week then.
It's always good to beat the Kings.
Yes,
it's always good to beat your rival. In fact, I'd say almost dominate your rival for the whole season. Is it 3-0 against the Kings, or is it 4?
All I know is it's an O. I don't think that. Yeah.
Yes.
So we've got more games against the Kings this season, so looking forward to those, of course. But we'll just go ahead and jump right into the games. But first, what we'll do is make sure that you guys know we appreciate you being here. Please feel free to share us out there, retweet us out there, get some more folks in here so we can do the live chat portion, talking with you guys. We enjoy that so much. Feel free to do that. And
I know it's kind of weird because we're on time.
I know.
That does not happen normally.
Usually we're fighting gremlins or for some reason or another we're late. We can make up some excuses, but we're here, we're on time, and I apologize because it's not what we usually do. We're usually late. So anyway, feel free to do that, support the show. We appreciate you. Okay, so let's talk about these two games then, okay? We had the first game against the Kings in LA, right? We end up going to overtime here, and Hurdle makes a phenomenal play. But this is Sawchenko's first win in the NHL.
Yes.
So it was an overtime win, obviously.
Yeah,
so.
Fantastic for him. Glad to see him get off to the ground running, I guess, if you will. He's had some appearances. He's had one other start before this, I believe. So first win in the second start, I think is what the stat is. That's not bad. That's pretty good for an NHL.
Yeah.
And a guy who I don't believe was even drafted super high, was he?
No. So he started off, I think, a little bit shaky though.
Yeah.
Right. Because I remember sending the tweet out saying, this is the reason why they got Alex Stalock. Not because Stalock's here to save the season, okay, but because when the rookies are having shaky starts like this, they're looking like all might be lost in this game. You've got a guy and a veteran in Alex Stalock who comes in and doesn't necessarily hold down the fort, but at least he can soak up a loss so that the young guys don't have to. You don't have to damage their confidence. That whole speech, right? But hey, he stood on his head for the rest of the game and pulled it out in the end. There. So
he wasn't even drafted.
I was gonna say he's undrafted. Yeah.
I was mixing up with someone else. Like the first two goals were in and out of his glove hand, right?
Yeah.
And after the game, he had mentioned he was very embarrassed and that's not an NHL glove hand. And after that first goal, I mean, there was two quick goals. They're 8 seconds apart. It looked like, this is going to be really bad. But he kind of settled in and got better. And I think LA was kind of trying to pick on him on that glove hand the rest of the game, and they couldn't really quite get there. So he got better.
I remember him flashing leather a few more times in that game, where he was like, okay, test me again.
Yeah.
So they challenged him, and he challenged right back, and he was equal to the task. So good on Sawchenko there. First NHL win. Congrats to the young netminder. So happy to see that. Happy to see him getting the opportunities. I know a lot of fans have wanted him to step in and get some action, some NHL action. So there you go. He's got it now. It's his first start. He's been doing relief quite a bit, but for him to be able to take the reins for the full 60, big deal for him. So I'm sure his folks are just ecstatic.
Yeah,
I can't imagine, man.
Yeah,
that'd be
all
awesome.
His family and friends back home, just I remember that guy. He used to score on him all the time.
So speaking of scoring on him all the time, the Sharks end up winning this game because Tomas Hurdle makes a beautiful play. Lots and lots of patience. Takes this puck, wraps it. Do you want to go through it? Because it looks like you want to.
Well, I'm just laughing because how many times has he done this move and it didn't work? Like I think all of the Sharks fans knew he was going to be doing the wraparound. Everyone except Jonathan Quick, who Quick seemed to be out of position a little bit, and Hurdle was coming to his left. So Jonathan Quick, I think he was kind of screened, and then all of a sudden he popped out. So he dove as a desperation save to stop Hurdle from scoring, and then Hurdle just kept going around, wrapped it, and there was I think a defender there that he just wasn't very strong, right? And Quick didn't even have a chance to get up and go back, so he was completely out of position.
Yeah,
I mean, I was like, oh great, he's gonna miss this wraparound, not that he normally does, but it's like okay, let's try and wrap this around.
Murphy's Law.
See. Yeah, exactly. But he did. He scored. It was great. And it was so, matter of fact after he scored. He was just like,
yes.
Did it. I knew it.
Nice. I'll be honest with you. When I first saw him going around to the Quick's left-hand side, I guess you could say, I thought he was going to shoot.
Right, yeah.
I like the way that he was.
Could have.
He could have shot.
He would have been. He's on his backhand because he went around that way. He could have lifted it up, but he might have missed.
Yeah.
Or Quick could have made a desperation save and actually gotten a piece of it and stopped it. So it was good for him to recognize that.
Yeah. To me, it looked like he was just going to let loose and fire. But again, the patience, and it's something that we've seen from a couple of the high-end Sharks players is that patience, holding on to the puck, not just dumping it, getting rid of it. And in tight right there, right? Not just firing the puck on the net because there's guys coming. Patience, hang on to it, make the goalie make a mistake, and then go ahead and go around the other side there, wrap it around. Beautiful job. So the Sharks pick up 2 points. And I guess we could say unfortunately there. I don't know. Go ahead.
I mean, it's hard. I can't root for LA.
Right.
So it's really difficult.
Right.
But I can root against Vegas. We talked about this last show.
We did, yeah.
Like, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. So right now, LA is above Vegas. In fact, Edmonton won and Vegas lost tonight. So Vegas is currently in the 4th position in the Pacific. Vancouver has 2 games in hand, and they are only down by 3 points. So they could technically take over if they win those 2 games.
Yeah.
Now imagine how disastrous is Vegas' season going right now if Vancouver, who was at the bottom, maybe not the bottom, maybe they were at the bottom at one point. They were pretty close to the bottom. I think Seattle was always at the bottom. They were down there. But they were down there, and they had a coaching switch. And, I mean, we saw this with St. Louis years ago, right? Coaching switch actually worked. I think it's Boudreau. Bruce Boudreau is their coach now, and he's got them firing on all cylinders, and they're marching their way up. And Vancouver is in a very good spot to take over, which would be amazing. Yeah. If you're a Vegas fan, like, first of all, thank you for joining our show. Oh. But I just hope that they don't make playoffs because they've never missed the playoffs.
Right.
Their fans need to have the misery.
Yes.
They need to be indoctrinated into the NHL properly. Just like the Seattle fans will be, right? Like, come on, have some humility. You don't get to the finals every year. So, yes, I just hope that they don't make it. It would be fantastic.
I'm on board. You don't need any convincing on this side of the table. I am on board. Anytime we can get Vegas to feel a little bit of that pain, I'm good with that. It's not even Vegas. It's just the fan base.
Yes.
And the team. To be fair, we've had a Vegas fan who's somebody who actually did some, I think, articles or something. He wrote for them or something. He popped on the show one time in a live stream. Very nice guy, and we enjoyed his company there, virtually, digitally, whatever. But beyond that, like, the general fan base, I've never had a good interaction with them.
Yeah, they're too
entitled.
Entitled. That's the best word to describe.
Is that the right word? I don't know.
Entitled and not humilified. I don't know what's the word. It's been a long day.
Humble? Is that the word you're looking for?
Yes.
Okay.
Humiliated.
Well, that would be nice. Right. Regardless, that is the first game in LA, and the second game in LA, an entirely different story. This was I used the word shellacking last episode, right? 5-0 is pretty bad. This is a 5-0 win the Sharks had over the LA Kings. Now, this was at home in front of a very grateful, not fighting each other, San Jose crowd.
Mind you, it was a 5-0, and none of those, there was an empty netter either.
Yeah.
So that it wasn't like they pulled their goalie with 3 minutes left and they scored another one.
I can't imagine they would pull their goalie down 4-0. But thank you for clarifying.
Right. I'm just saying, it wasn't like 3-0 and they scored 2 empty netters to make it 5.
Sure.
Which could happen. Whatever.
Okay. So anyway, 5-0 win. This is a big one. You had Tomas Hertl picking up a pair of goals. You had Timo Meier picking up a goal. He had 2 assists in there as well. Now, for the two of them, that's 25 goals on the season apiece.
Yes.
Quite the milestone there. So happy to see them kind of getting into form. I mean, Hertl, we know what Hertl brings, and we know he's capable, and we know Timo's capable, but we just haven't seen that out of Timo in the last couple seasons. So really good to see him. We've seen him, this season, obviously, he's doing well, but to have him actually get to the milestone, to get to that plateau, really good to see, and obviously we're hoping that he gets even more as the season progresses here. So
I'm looking at last season's stats because last season they played 56 games.
Yes.
So and they're at 53 right now. So pretty comparable, right? Hertl had 19 goals and 24 assists. Timo Meier had 12 goals and 19 assists.
Yeah.
How disastrous was that? That's crazy. Like how far he has come from in one season, just coming into his own. So I mean, the team is playing better. We've talked about this all year. Like they just are gelling and coming together and playing for each other and doing all the things that you need to do to be successful. So congrats on them. 25 goals is a good milestone. Both of them most likely right now it looks like they're going to hit 30. It's almost a sure bet. Hurdle, not sure if it'll be with the Sharks, but
so see, he just had to little rain cloud.
I like it. Just a little jab, man. Little jab.
Well, speaking of Hurdle, yes, obviously we'll talk about this later on, but we are on Hurdle watch. But there's another watch that we're on right now as well. Who had, and I've said this last episode, so there's no way he's getting to 10 goals this season. Who had 6 shots on goal and 1 goal?
You know what Kellen Foster just said?
Hold on. Answer the question. You know who had 6 shots on goal and 1 goal in these games? Not Noah Gregor. How you feeling, buddy?
Whatever.
Where's that hat trick? He's got a hat trick coming, doesn't he?
Kellen Foster, don't forget you had Gregor miss the net in that 5-0 game as well.
I'm telling you. I don't know what the bet's going to be exactly, okay? But I know that it's for those of you who don't know. First of all, Aaron and I have a bet that Noah Gregor will or won't get to 10 goals by the end of the season. I'm taking the under. He's taking the over, the 9.5. So I'm feeling confident. He seems to think that somehow, some way, Noah Gregor's going to get a hat trick or two to kind of boost himself into the 10-goal conversation. I don't know where it's coming from, but
you love this.
He had nothing.
Much.
How many shots did he have that game?
Nothing.
No shots.
He had
nothing.
Was it 10 minutes of ice time? 10 minutes and 37 seconds of ice time.
Did you say he was a scratch?
The next game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Hard to score goals when you're not in the lineup. Just an observation from this side of the table.
Is it, though?
Regardless, the guy who did have 6 shots on goal and a goal that game was Jonathan Dahlen. Nice to see him jumping back in, stepping up, getting some good playing time, some good minutes, and getting productive. Getting rewarded for it as well.
Yes. Yeah. Back in the lineup in the top line, I believe, right? He was up there with... what's the top line? I guess you'd say Hurdle or Meyer.
Top 6, the interchange or whatever.
Yeah. Good to see him start scoring again. I really feel like he just got out of shape. I mean, 82 games is a grind, so his body's just not ready for it. But bouncing back much better than Noah Gregor, so I think he deserves to be in the lineup.
Absolutely.
And he's looking better than he has in the last 2-3 weeks. So. This is what the Sharks need in order to be competitive every night.
Yeah.
So it's good. It's good to see him get rewarded with the goal.
So do you want them to continue winning?
That's the problem. That's like they just said. Like Sharks are only 9 points out. This is from Jetter. Sharks are only 9 points out. Miracles can happen. 9 points out is a lot because you need other teams to lose at the same time. But you are playing a lot of those teams at the same time.
But what you had said before was, I kind of feel weird rooting for LA because I want them to take the spot over from Vegas. But beating LA, Vegas is doing it to themselves right now, it looks like.
Right.
So
they just lost to
in
Columbus.
A weird sense, there might be an opportunity, and Timo had said in the postgame, we still believe that we can have a shot at making playoffs here. Now, I don't know if that's just lip service. I'm assuming it is. As a player, they're not telling you, hey, please go out there with the media, be honest, and say there's no way in hell we're making this, right?
You have to believe.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're going through the motions, and it's going to be awful hockey. So they're going to be fighting. They're going to be, at least playing spoiler. Yeah. Getting their game better, well-rounded, so then when they go into next year, they're going to say, hey, look at those last 20 games. Yeah, we missed playoffs, but those last 20 games, we put it together and believe more in the system, and it's working, and this is what we should be doing. And then injecting more skilled players next year. Like, it's a momentum thing, kind of. Like, momentum in the sense that, this system works, let's stick to it, versus blow it all up and get a new coach, which a lot of people want, which is silly. So I think I think it's a good thing. I still don't think they're going to make playoffs. I think 9 points is too much at this point in the season. And not that I want them to tank. I'm not looking for them to get the first overall pick or the first 3 picks.
Top 10 would be
Top 10 would be great. Yeah. Top 10, that's a player that's going to be joining the Sharks in about 2 seasons versus a 15th overall pick, right where you missed the playoffs and you're at the very end. That's the worst spot you could be. That's a player that's going to join in about 3 years. And it probably wouldn't be an impact player.
Right.
It'd be more like maybe a second-line guy, maybe a second-pairing defenseman, not a super high-skilled guy.
Right.
So I'm hoping for a top 10 pick. That would make me happy.
That's fair enough. You talked about the system and the system works, and we'll get to a little bit about a system change that happened. But first, we do have a clip from Bob here talking about some of the guys that came back. Now, we had talked about before, I think it was last episode, I had said, the team right now, and that was a week ago, very different from the team that was originally put on the ice, at least on the roster on paper, in game 1 of the season, right?
Absolutely.
So very, very different team from what you're seeing now. And what I meant by that was half the team was Barracuda. So for you to be able to get guys back, we're talking about Magna, right?
Right.
That's not even a guy that was in the lineup day 1, but it was like, man, he got hurt too, and him coming back was an impact. But then obviously guys like Erik Karlsson, having Karlsson come back in, immediate impact. His ability to control the puck. Hate him all you want, YouTube, okay? Hate him all you want. I know you don't like his dollar amount and his price tag. You have to respect the skill, though. He is absolutely incredible.
2 games back, and there's 2 wins.
Incredible.
I don't think there's a coincidence there. I'm not saying he drives the whole team, but he certainly helps getting that puck out of their own zone, skating it out, not even just throwing it out, right? So you keep possession and control, and your team is better.
And that's one of the things I love about it is his ability to possess and control. Maybe that gets overlooked a little bit, but just being able to make the right play at the right time, getting the puck to a player who's open, skating it across the blue line with ease. Teams back off on him a lot of times. He brings that presence and he brings that ability to give your team a chance, whether or not they bury it. Now, I can't remember who it was. It might have been Reedy, one of the younger guys, I think, ripped a pass to him from like blue line to blue line, and he just was not ready for it, whoever it was, and it just went right off of his, I think it went under his stick there, on the heel. I can't remember who it was now. But it was right inside the offensive zone because he had it would have been a shot right next to the post there.
Gadjevich, wasn't it?
Was it Gads?
I thought it was someone on the 4th line.
Regardless, it was one of them, and it just went under the stick, and he couldn't do it. He couldn't bury it.
Yep.
And a more seasoned player maybe picks that one up, but you can't fault a guy like Erik Karlsson for something like that where the guy can't control it. It was a great pass, and he saw him. That's the thing. He's got that vision. So, Jumbo from the blue line. He's incredible for me. I love the guy. I know some of you guys don't like the price tag, but again, you have to respect the skill. Another guy that came back in that game played amazing, Aiden Hill. Again, It was a 5-0 win. Comes back off the IR and picks up a shutout. Good on you, right?
Yeah. Second one of the season for him.
So we've been talking a lot about James Reimer and how much he's impacted the team, but good on Aiden Hill. Making the re-debut, if you will, after the injury.
That brought his save percentage up to 906 on the season. It's
better,
still better than Joner.
I was gonna say, whose save percentage is it 906?
Yeah.
You know who's got the worst save percentage in the league?
Isn't it Toronto's goalie?
No, Jonathan Quick.
Oh, really?
Jonathan
I thought Mrazek was worse now.
Quick has the low. Well, maybe, I don't know if they're today or something like that. But Jonathan Quick, last I saw, Jonathan Quick has the lowest, and then a few goaltenders down the list. Just a few.
Yeah.
Martin Jones.
Mrazek is right now the Toronto leading goalie, and Toronto, being Toronto in the media, is throwing a hissy fit that they need to make a trade for a goalie, so they want to get Fleury in. So I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if they try and deal for one of the Sharks goalies.
I was gonna say
Reimer. Reimer was a fan favorite in Toronto. He played there before.
Not be shocked. Would not be shocked.
But he's hurt right now. Who knows? I don't know how bad it is. I don't know what's going on. But
in any case, those guys coming back from IR, big deal for the Sharks. It changes the outlook a little bit, and we do have Bob talking about this.
We do.
So go ahead and set us up.
Yeah,
fire away.
Bob was asked about kind of there's 2 questions here. One of them is about kind of the lineup and because the Sharks are missing 8, I think, of their starting players, and they're starting to come back now with Karlsson, Magna, and Aiden Hill. So he was asked about that, and then he was asked about the blowout win or the blowout loss against, I think it was against Tampa, right? 8-0. Is that who it was? Anyway, the Sharks 8-0 loss. So here's Bob Boughner talking about both of these things.
Well, I think both those guys injected, some energy in the lineup. I think guys were excited to get some, full-time players back, and I thought you saw the direct result of that with Carly in LA the other night, Hiller tonight. Don't overlook Megna coming back as well as a huge part of what we're doing the last 2 games, and. It's nice. We're just rolling our bench. We're getting contributions from every line, and we can spread ice time out, and we're staying out of the penalty box. That's a big difference. Tommy Hurdle and Cooch and those guys aren't playing those heavy minutes on the PK, and that makes a big difference for their offense. Yeah, it's a lot different team you saw on the ice against the 8-0 loss. But, you look around the league, it happened, the other night. I was reading Jerry Gallant yelling about the Rangers leaving their goalie out to dry, and that's a pretty good hockey team. So every team's going to have those, especially, when you're missing, I think it was 9 guys at the time. But, we went through a lot of adversity, and we're getting healthy, and we're starting to play well, and who knows where that takes us. We got a tough game on Tuesday against one of the best teams in the league, but we're going to enjoy this one for tonight for sure.
Quick correction there. The Tampa was the 7-1. It was Nashville who was 8-0.
Yeah.
We just kind of
but like you said, who is it? Who did you say it got blown out? So the New York Rangers. So it happens to good teams.
Yeah.
Probably 1 or 2 games a year where it's just what happened? Everyone's just off.
Yeah.
It's an off night. I'm not saying the Sharks are the best team.
I was gonna say,
but a lot of teams, even the best teams in the league, or
right.
one of the top teams in the league, it happens to them. It's just not their night.
It happens to good teams, and it happens to the Sharks. Mm-hmm. It doesn't matter who.
Nicholas Egan. Sharks will need 35 points in the final 24 games, so 729 points percentage to hit 94 points, which is usually the barrier between the playoffs and missing. I just don't see that happening.
Yeah, I don't either. Again, you've got Timo in there saying, to the media though, he's saying, we still believe we can make playoffs. No, it's, what do you call it? By the numbers?
You're not. Yeah. They're not mathematically out of
exactly. It. Thank you. Mathematically.
Yogi Berra, you're in it until you're not.
You're there until you're not. You're as close to not as pretty much possible. I think, what is it? Still 2% chance or whatever it is? It's low.
I don't even look.
So regardless of what it is, my assumption is, unfortunately, this will not be a playoff team again this season. It's for the 3rd season in a row, the first time in franchise history, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that's my expectation. So I'm just kind of rolling with that. Hey, if they surprise me, I'm not going to be mad.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
But I think realistically, you have a big enough sample size now. We're well past halfway through the season. I think we know what this team is probably going to do. Unless you think there's a market correction to be had here.
Maybe the other way.
Yeah.
They do have 4 games this week.
Yeah.
And it's all right before the trade deadline, so we will know exactly where the Sharks stand by the trade deadline.
Yeah.
They'll have roughly, at least the Sunday game against Arizona is earlier too.
Yeah.
So it's not like ending at 10 p.m. at night.
So I'm sure during the roll call, we'll have a lot of questions about Turtle and trades and all that kind of stuff.
Anthony Sanchez. Can we all laugh at how horrible Vegas looks right now? Yes.
Yes, we can.
Yes,
Hold on, ready? Thank you for that moment. Appreciate that, Anthony.
You know what? I hope Vegas just missed playoffs so they get the 16th pick. That would be fantastic.
Dude, our luck, they'll still win the lottery, whatever.
I don't even think they're in the lottery that high.
Is it? No? I thought all of them get an opportunity.
They changed the rules. I don't know. Or they have less chances. I don't know. Whatever.
I'm cool with that. I believe there's a tweet that you wanted to bring up here. No.
No. We
want to talk
we're going to talk about the system changing.
Yeah, that's right. We want to talk about the system change.
Right.
Something that Bob had brought up. Now, we also have a clip of this. I don't know if you want to talk about it first a little bit and then do the clip, but I think probably maybe set the clip up first and then we'll talk.
Yeah. So, again, this is Bob Bugner talking about the new system changes that the Sharks have made for their, what's it called, forechecking, defensive, neutral zone, not trap, but kind of like how to the whole reasoning for this is the Sharks PK is almost number 1. I think they're number 2 still technically.
Yeah.
But in the last half of the season, they've been the best PK. Like, how come that's not translating to their 5-on-5 play? Right. So they made adjustments 2 games ago. What happened in those 2 games?
Yeah.
The 2 wins. So this is a couple questions. I think there's 3 questions that were asked specifically about the systematic change. So here's Bob on what they changed and why it's working.
Well, we worked on we had a major overhaul of our neutral zone system in the last few days, and it's something I've been thinking about for a while. And that's what we did. But because of what we're doing in the neutral zone, teams are chipping and dumping more, and we're allowing we're getting to spots. We're arriving into our D zone and better spots to help out in those exits, and we have some automatic exits that we've been working on as a team, and just try to simplify it a little bit, because it was one of the areas that we're starting to really suffer in is teams coming over our line with too much control, and and our breakouts weren't clean. So we changed some things up, and the guys are responding. I think they like the change, and it suits our team better at this point in time of year, I think. No, we were. It's more of a 1-1-3, and something we haven't done all year. But you could see we're taking away the middle of the ice, forcing teams wide, and building that wall. And one of the reasons we did it was because we're such a good penalty kill team in the 1-3 when we only have 4 guys on the ice. So parlay that into a 5-man system, and it's the same mentality.
Is it a challenge to change things systemically like that?
Yeah, it is, and but it was something that it's again because we're such a good PK team, and I think the guys see the results of that. It was an easy buy-in for our guys, and we went and had some sort of classroom-style video sessions for the first 2 days of the week here, our practice days, and then we implemented it in practice, and we tried it the other night in LA for the first time, and and again tonight. So it's something that we're looking to stay on.
So, for all the people that have this issue with Bob Bugner as a coach, stuff like this kind of points me in the other direction, right? Now, it seems like it might be simple, but he's taking a strategy that works a man down, and he's utilizing that in his 5-on-5 play. So what he said was, and if you watch their PK, it's a 1-3. Okay, they've got 1 guy in the neutral zone, and then they've got 3 guys behind them across the blue line. Everybody's backing in. So basically what they're trying to do is they take away the middle, because you can't skate right past that guy at dead center. You're going to go left or you're going to go right. And Aaron was talking about this in soccer as well, and what we do in hockey. We use those boards. He says like a defenseman. For me, it's a wall. You got nowhere to go. Mm-hmm. So you've got nowhere to go up against the wall. You've got a guy pressuring from the middle going towards the wall. And then you've also got one of those 3 on the blue line that's acting as a wall in front of you. And that's working very good because they've got nowhere to go. So they're kind of flipping the puck in the zone, and that's all they can do. If they try to charge through it, they end up getting hit. Shimmick loves this, I bet. Yeah. So you've got that system working for you in the PK. Now you implement the same exact thing on the 5-on-5 by having a 1-1-3. And essentially what you're doing is, even if that first guy gets beat up the middle towards the boards, you've got that second guy in the middle still that just basically darts out, and then the first guy can always jump back. No big deal. So there's a whole lot going on there that's going right for the Sharks in the neutral zone at 5-on-5 in the same way that it was going right for them on the PK. And, I mean, look at the last 2 games. It seems to have worked out pretty well. And the buy-in is easy. Mm-hmm. It's easy because it's a system that they're already using. You're just adding an extra man to it. And so there's really nothing new to learn there except for that extra man. Right. So it's an easy system to buy into because there's no real change. It's taking something that's familiar and just making a little modification to it.
I mean, I think it was Shang that asked, is this basically the trap?
Yeah.
Like the trap going back to New Jersey days in the late 90s when this is what changed hockey because, this is a different era where you can clutch and grab, you can stop anyone. But they kind of tried to get rid of the trap after the lockout, like making it not illegal, but just the way that the game's different and opened up, it changed things. But of course, coaches are going to figure out when you don't have a team that's skilled enough to do stuff, you're going to clog up things. This is kind of like the trap in a way.
Yeah.
And the trap is essentially like, I think of the trap, you didn't have any forecheckers, right? You just pulled everyone back.
More or less, yeah. You funnel them into a certain area, and then you're trapping them, right? So yeah, you're kind of and that's essentially what this is. They're funneling them out of the middle of the neutral zone and towards the boards and into a player that's standing on the blue line, into a player that's behind that first player in the center of the rink, pushing him wide. And it's funny, actually, now that I think about it, when I watch my boys play roller, this is one of the things that the coach does with the roller kids is they've got two guys in like an I formation up top, and then two kids behind because it's 4 on 4 for roller.
Mm-hmm.
And that's essentially the same thing they're doing. That first player takes the puck carrier up to a certain point, and the second guy back now is able to go towards the boards. That first guy peels off. Exactly. Yeah. So the first guy acts as the funnel. The second guy actually does the attacking, and then the first guy goes and covers the pass going through the middle. So that's all his job is just to be a cone in the middle and force that guy one way or the other, and then the second guy picks him up after he makes that move.
Be a pylon.
So what's that?
Be a pylon.
Be a pylon. Yeah.
The
be a
first
pylon.
guy.
Bring all the enforcer defensemen back.
Right.
Just be a pylon.
You know,
it's okay.
I wonder if Shimmick's hits are going to go up now that they're changing this, because he's going to be playing. I mean, he plays the PK normally and he gets his hits there, but now they're going to be doing the same system on 5-on-5, and it's going to be funneling to the outside to where he's at, and he's just going to stand him off the blue line. So I think we might see some more monster hits at the blue line from Shimmick.
And you know, people get upset with the power plays where you go in, you drop the puck back, or you pass the puck backwards, and you got that one guy. That's one way to try to get rid of this system. Right, that 1-3, right, that they're doing on PKs, is to try to get them to go all the way into their end of the neutral zone and then pass the puck back so that they're sucked back into that section of the neutral zone, and then they're kind of stuck. They're flat-footed, or they have to come towards you, in which case one little move and you burn around. So that's why they do that, is to try to catch the PK defense flat-footed. Most teams aren't going to do that 5-on-5. Most teams aren't going to bring it in, then pass back to the defense, and then try to charge across the line 5-on-5. Yeah. And even if they do, you've got two guys in the neutral zone that you're trying to burn. It's not really going to work.
If a team is trying to get a line change and they're just trying to get to basically past the half line so they can, or the red line so they can not ice the puck.
Yeah.
Are we going to see more transition because they're going to intercept the puck where they're not going to be able to get it deep? They're going to intercept it, and then someone like Carlson or Burns is going to take the puck and try and get while they're doing a line change, you're going to get more counterattacks in a way.
I think that's the beauty of this too, is that when they're not able to get into the offensive zone, right?
Right.
When they're not able to get in and they're just kind of flipping the puck in there. Again, I go back to what we teach the kids: is you're throwing the puck away. You're giving the puck to the other team. Every time you panic and throw the puck, you're giving the puck to the other team. Now, NHL players aren't going to panic and throw the puck, but when they're trying to dump it in, when you're trying to dump it in, but you've got someone pressuring you towards the boards, it's not the defenseman that's pressuring you towards the boards. It's going to be that guy in the I formation, the 1-1. One of those guys is going to be drilling you. So when you flip it in, you're absorbing that hit. The guys that are on the blue line are the ones that are going to actually be able to retrieve the puck without you forechecking because you're getting hit. So that essentially gives the puck to guys like Burns and Carlson, and that is exactly what the Sharks want. They want the puck in their hands in the defensive zone to get that breakout pass.
Do you think someone with a lot of speed is going to get a lot of chances?
I think someone with a lot of speed already got a lot of chances. Don't try this with me, Aaron. Do not try this with me, okay? He's got a lot of chances already. He's not able to bury it.
Hat trick Noah Gregor.
No, he's not.
It's going to come.
Oh, my goodness. You know what? So here's what we're going to do. And I'm sorry, super producer Jason, because you're going to have to make a graphic. Do you remember Pavelski goal watch with the eagle flying over above?
Oh, geez,
we're going to have to do something for Noah Gregor, but you're not going to have to do much work, super producer Jason, because it's going to be one graphic, and you're not going to have to flip the tiles over at all because it's not happening.
Speaking of graphics, we do have a tweet here from Corey Massasack.
Oh, now we want to talk about the tweet. Sure, go ahead.
You can throw this up here on the screen. Corey sent this out today. This is the stats of the San Jose Sharks for the last 20 games. Now, I don't know if you remember, but the power play was kind of atrocious for a while. And it's picked up. Part of the problem, though, is they're not getting enough power plays. I think that's kind of correcting itself now. But they are 25.4% on the power play, which is 8th in NHL. They're 94.6 on the PK, which is first. They've only given up 3 goals in 20 games.
That's incredible.
Which is insane. But then you look at the other side, 5-on-5, so even strength. What is the CF's percentage? Corsi
4.
Yeah, 32nd, they're last. Expected goals for, 31st, second to last. Actual goals for, 32nd. Yeah. They're just awful. They're being outscored 53-29 at 5-on-5, and then it's 60-32 at evens.
Right.
So 4-on-4, 3-on-3,
right,
or 5-on-5. So this is probably the reason. This is probably what Bob looked at and said, you know what? Our PK is doing great.
Yeah.
We need to change this to change these stats on our 5-on-5.
Use what works when you have one man less. And this is something we talked about years ago, too. How come the Sharks are so good with a man down, but when they're even up or even on the power play, they're terrible, right?
Yeah.
I'm not saying this is why, but it's something that you can look at and go, well, I mean, this is absolutely one way to improve it. You can take the strategy that you're using for the PK that is working so well and just apply it 5-on-5. You have an extra man. It should be easier to get the puck away, right?
Yes.
So, again, I don't know enough about coaching at the NHL level, per se, to say that Bob Boughner is a bad coach. I'm not going to go there. I'm not going to do that. But what I can do is say, this is a pretty smart move. Whether other coaches are already doing this and this is why their defenses are good or whatever the case is, I think this is a pretty smart move to implement a change mid-season that isn't even really a change. It's just what they've been doing on the PK. It's so easy for them to learn because we're already doing it. You just need to add somebody. That's
right.
it. So, and for it to be working, that's huge. So, hats off, kudos to Bob Boughner there. I think I can't say bad things about the guy. I think he's doing a fine job. So
he's doing what he can with the cards that he's
it's not
been dealt
duct tape.
with. Yeah. I mean, there's so many guys that are still in the IR
Yes.
that Carlson back is a big help, and he's looking good. And he had a ton of ice time his first game back, so that's definitely gonna help the team. What are you gonna?
No, just Lundy said, how much did I miss? You missed the whole show, buddy. Just about. Maybe you're weak where most relationships are weak. Communication. Yeah, that could be it too. Absolutely.
Let's. You want to do roll call?
Yeah, let's do roll call.
All right, roll call. Tell us where you are watching from, and what do you want to ask?
I'm afraid.
Goal watch.
Yeah, okay. You want to do the goal thing again? Because y'all got to be with me on this one. But let's not do that again. Let's do something about Hurdle, man. It's got to be about Hurdle.
Does Hurdle get 30 goals with the Sharks or with another team? Because he technically could get it in the next 4 games if he's not traded until the deadline.
Yeah.
That's 5 goals in 4 games. That's
doable.
Very doable.
Absolutely doable for a guy like Hurdle.
And he's picking it up now because he didn't score a goal for over a month before the first LA game.
So does Hurdle hit 40 goals this season? Period.
Oh,
whether he's with the Sharks or with anybody
that's
else.
15 more goals.
15 more goals. It's definitely doable. Now, if he gets traded, he's got to figure himself out in their system. But does Hurdle get 40 goals by the end of the season? Mm-hmm. What do you think? I think that's a decent one. Good?
Sure.
All right, that's what we'll do. So do that for roll call. Also, a couple things. One, we put up the tweet there by Corey. If you're not following Corey, you absolutely should be. Follow him on Twitter. He's a great resource. He's with The Athletic, does lots of good articles there. A very analytical approach, as you just saw with the tweets. So if that's kind of up your alley, feel free to follow him. He's our people. He's good stuff. So.
I'd like to know, I mean, we got a decent amount of people in here. How many of you were at the game in LA?
Oh, yeah.
If any of you were there. Because there were a lot of Sharks fans. Yeah, the one in LA.
Yeah.
There was a lot of Sharks fans down there. Either traveling down there or they lived down there. Mm-hmm. And they just showed up to the game and cheered on the Sharks, beating them in overtime.
Also, we'll go ahead before we jump in. We'll let the roll call kind of thing go right now. But just to remind you guys, thefinfactor.com, we've got the shirts and stickers and hats, all kinds of stuff. If you like the show, you want to help support the show, please feel free, go there, pick yourself up something like this hat, for instance. So you can support the show that way. You can also use Super Chat function. We can see your message on the screen. We'll go ahead and answer any question that you have. If you don't like using YouTube, going through them, you can use Venmo. We are at The Fin Factor on Venmo, and I think Super Producer Jason might be keeping an eye on that or something. So if we happen to get that, we'll answer that question or read that comment off right here on the air. If we miss it for whatever reason, we'll go ahead and circle back the next show, which would be next week, I guess, and we'll go from there. So we'll answer your question or your comment or whatever it is at that point in time. So feel free if you guys would like to support the show. Thank you. Otherwise, for me, honestly, sharing, retweeting, getting the word out there, getting your friends in here. You said we got quite a few people in the chat here. So again, thank you for that, guys. We appreciate that. But that's one of the best ways to support the show too. So thank you very much.
Thanks.
We're good. Okay. Colorado Springs. Hurdle will cap out at 34 goals with the Minnesota Wild.
I would only be happy if Rossi comes back our way, but I
Okay.
don't think that's going to happen.
Okay. I would like to know what Lundy thinks about that one.
Sure.
Yeah.
He's commenting.
Soda.
Yeah.
Love seeing Vegas in shambles with Eichel's $10 million contract. Yeah, that's a good one.
Yes.
I like that.
Yes, that
Did
makes
you
me
saw
happy.
the comment about them, the Buffalo fans? It only took them him getting traded and like 7 years for them to get into the game. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, a little salty
Wow.
there.
Are you able to ship across to Canada yet? I'm getting thumbs up from super producer Jason. So apparently, yes, we are now able to ship across to Canada. So
They'll pay import taxes though.
you will pay import taxes.
Clothing is expensive, like 20% tax.
20% tax if you didn't hear that.
Okay, 20% tax for
Import,
import.
export tax,
Yeah. So we apologize for that. Our hands are tied. I apologize. But what we can do, maybe
The
we'll
Mounties collected.
We're paying off the Mounties.
maybe you'll find something extra in the box or something. I don't know. We'll see what we can do. Okay. Good.
Good.
All right. Good.
right.
What's next? Now?
Upcoming games.
Upcoming games. All right. So that you said there were 4 of them. Now
4.
it starts on Tuesday, correct?
Tuesday is Florida, and it was going to be the return of Joe Thornton, but he is on IR. So
Will he be in the building?
I don't know. I don't know if he went on the trip. I'm
Okay.
going to have to look that up because they're playing in LA right now.
Oh, okay.
So they're on the West Coast. I would like to think that he's back. Lundy, thanks for the $1.99. Hurdle deserves better than the Wild.
See,
There's
I
your
thought
thought.
that's what I wanted to know right there. That's what I was asking
Yeah.
for. I wonder what he wanted to know, what he wanted to say about the Wild there. So cool, thank you, buddy. Appreciate that. Hurdle will get to 40, huh? I think he will.
All right, so Tuesday against Florida.
Yep.
That's here. And then Thursday, they're playing the Kings again in LA.
How about that?
What do you think that's going to happen there?
Oh, I think it's gonna be a rougher game. I think it's gonna be much more. Well, see, and it's hard to say that though because LA's beat up too.
I thought the last game was going to be chippier than it was.
Yeah.
Because they just lost in overtime.
But
I thought
that
they were
was
going to be
close,
fighting.
Right? That was a tight game. It was kind of just a
No,
back
I know.
and
So I
forth.
thought that game. I
Yeah.
thought the second game was going to be chippier, especially after they go down so much. I thought there's going to be more fights and more like. And then they're playing them again, like
Yeah.
on less than a week later.
See, I think this game has a bigger propensity to be chippy as opposed to the last game that they just played, the second of the 2. Just because it was a 5-0 game, there's a bit of embarrassment there, right? I feel like that's where LA is going to go. Okay, nuts to this. We're gonna right. So they come out. I feel like that this coming game is going to get a little bit chippier on that end. So
I'm just going to spitball here.
oh,
And I actually just spit.
you did. Thank
If
you for
if there could be a chance, maybe not, if the Sharks get in the playoffs and they're the first wild card team, not the second wild card team,
that. Yeah.
and LA somehow jumps Calgary, they would play each other in the playoffs. That would be crazy.
Yes.
It's very, very doubtful.
Oh, we got
But
another one here, Lundy. $1.99. We would do better with Braun and Pickle.
I would gladly trade.
You know what? That's actually an interesting.
He's saying bring Braun back to the
I know
Sharks.
that's interesting. This is probably one of the few times that I'm going to go, you know what, Lundy? You might have something here. You might have something here, Lundy.
I don't know, man.
If they go on a bit of a streak here, let's say they have 5 games till the deadline, right?
Yeah.
Let's say
4 games, the Sharks.
the Sharks do.
Yeah.
Until the deadline? I thought it was 5 games, but there's 4 games this week. Is that not the
The
case?
deadline's on Monday.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah.
Wow.
So we play 4 games and it's the deadline the next day.
Jeez, dude, it's late. I'm tired. So, okay, let's say they win out these 4 games. Or they get real close, 7 points, right?
Okay.
Let's say they get real close. And you hear news that Tomas Hertl has not been traded. Tomas Hertl has re-signed for X amount of years. Doesn't matter. Gosh, where do you go from there now? Do you think that before the trade deadline, if they're kind of making that push and they've committed to Hertl, do you think they do a little trade here or there to maybe give a little bit of a bolster to the roster?
To be a buyer, you mean?
Just a little bit.
I don't see it, man. I just don't see
No, I
it.
don't see it either. I'm saying given this set of criteria,
If
we assume that they had won these games, they got 7 out of 8 points, whatever. If we assume that, if we see that Hertl gets signed, do you think that they go and they make one little acquisition here or there?
I mean, if they're lucky, they're playing Florida, LA, Colorado, Arizona.
Tough.
2 contenders there.
Yep.
Cup contenders. If they somehow get points from that, let's say 7 points, right? I mean, they're they have 4 games in hand on Anaheim, but they might catch Anaheim and Winnipeg, and they'd still be 4th or 5th on the wild card rankings.
Okay.
I just don't see it where they're going to go, yeah, we're going to go all in, or not all in, but we're going to go in and get people. I still don't see it.
So even if they ran the table, 8 points, 4-0 this week, we're still sellers.
I think so.
Okay.
Sorry,
folks.
I don't see it.
And honestly, I have to agree with him. I do. I agree with you. No matter what happens from this point, I think we're already kind of in this this mentality where I feel like we're going to be selling. Now, it'll be interesting because, again, post-game, Timo had said, we think that we still have a shot at playoffs. If you win out, but you're still sellers, that was them telling you, say that.
If the Sharks are buyers and not sellers,
yeah,
I think that's going to set them back another year.
I think it would too.
That's the problem. I'm thinking more long-term health of the team in terms of getting back in the playoffs and being a contender.
No, I agree.
I don't see it. I mean, they're probably going to ship out. Apparently, Jake Middleton has some very big interest. I mean, he's been playing fantastic. Mm-hmm. Was it Middleton and possibly Burns, Bonino, or not Bonino? I always mix them up. Cogliano, because Cogliano brings the PK. Which when you have a team that's elite, most of them don't have great PKs because they have too many skilled players.
Yeah.
So they don't want their skilled players to be doing all those heavy minutes.
Right.
So that's why they would bring in someone like Cogliano. I mean, I always go back to Barclay Goodrow. We never expected him to get traded because he had 2 years left on his contract, and it was shocking that Tampa Bay had got him, and it worked.
Yeah.
They won a cup. So I think we could see like Nick Bonino go.
Yeah.
Who's the other one that had 2 years? Matt Nieto has 2 years.
Nieto
That's another guy. Those are 2 guys that are probably the best penalty killers on the team. So if your team is you have a very good contending team, a great power play, but your penalty kill is like 20th, you're going to be like, we need to fix that before we go into playoffs because that's going to just absolutely kill us.
I'll say Lyle here saying, sail, folks. Everything must go. Please don't sign Hurdle to 8 years, repeating the cycle of bad contracts and setting us back. I have to agree. Now, as much as I love Hurdle, I think signing Hurdle to an 8-year contract would be a mistake.
If he signs, I'd like to see it like 4 years, but he wants term.
Of course he does.
This is going to be his last big contract.
Yeah.
Because in 4 years from now, he'll be, what is he, 28 right now?
He's late 28.
I forget how he is. He's 28. So 4 years, he'll be 32. Nobody's going to sign a 32-year-old for bigger money than you'd sign a 28-year-old. So he's going to want to get that money. And he's underpaid. He's completely underpaid at 5.6. And the Sharks know it. And everyone's like, oh, why doesn't he take a team-friendly contract? He already did.
He's been on team-friendly contracts. That's
you can't take team-friendly contracts your entire career. Yeah. You need to get paid.
That's why Kevin LeBanc is making $4.75. He took a team-friendly contract for that 1 year at $1 million, and then he got reimbursed for it, essentially, right? Mm-hmm. So it is what it is. I don't know. I think I agree with you, though. It would be a mistake to sign him to 8 years, especially with knee problems and things like that. You know, you don't want to take chances with that down the road here because you're going to, as much as you like the guy. I mean, everybody loved Marc-Edouard Vlasic just before they signed him to the $7 million deal.
Another guy that had a lot of team-friendly deals up until that last one.
Right, exactly. So you're kind of in the same boat where he was a guy that was loved on the blue line, had the team-friendly deals, and he, basically got paid. He got the contract that he, deserved to have for all of his playing previously. And now everybody kind of hates the guy and dumps on him, but it's because they paid him what they should have been paying him, and they gave him some term.
A market correction, if you will.
Sure, yeah. This guy loves that term, market correction, for everything. For everything.
It's true.
Okay, sure. So anyway, I would hate to have Hurdle be on the team for 8 years beyond this for the sole reason that the fan base would end up turning on him, just like they've turned on Hurdle. I'm sorry, on Vlasic.
Yeah,
they would turn on him.
I could see that.
They totally would.
Just like Couture.
Yeah.
Just like who else is highly paid right now?
Well, Burns,
Carlson, Vlasic. Yeah, all the high paid guys. As soon as you make that big contract, you're no longer going to be the fan favorite. It's because now you're hurting the team.
Yeah.
you're not helping the team. You're hurting the team.
Exactly. And I would hate for that to be the case with Hurdle. The guy, I like the guy too much. I wouldn't want to be sitting here in 5 years talking about how much we shouldn't have signed Hurdle to the, you know what I mean?
All right. Front end Zen. Always need to pay players for their present value, not their past value. How do you know what their present value is? That means their contracts need to fluctuate based on how they perform. Right? So you need incentive laden contracts.
Right.
So when they hit these certain bonuses, sure, that could work, but it's just that's not how it's set up. That's not how it works. So yeah, I don't think it's as bad as baseball. Baseball's like the worst, where the bigger contracts are guys that are way over 30.
See, and the thing is, what you said isn't even entirely wrong, right? Pay them for what their current value is. The thing is, they're signing them at that point in time for what their current value is, right? And part of that value isn't just how good that player is. It's taking into consideration, again, for a guy like Kevin LeBanc, he took a 1 year, $1 million. Well, that's part of what you're worth to us, right, for that next contract. That you were able to do a 1 year, $1 million deal with us previously. We're working that into your next contract for what you're worth, because giving us that cap relief was worth something to us, and we're gonna pay you for that. In the same way that getting cap relief by trading, you're going to get something back for that cap relief, right? So it's worth something to you. So I think it's the same thing happens when it comes to paying players for on their next contract, giving them a little something extra for what they had given you previously to help you stay competitive or to help the team out with the cap, whatever the case was. I think they worked that into the deal just a little bit. So
the Athletic has this great feature of player cards. I think you've seen it.
Yeah.
The player cards kind of take into account their current production, what their salary is, what kind of based on how they're performing, what their salary should be.
Right.
So right now, I'm just looking at these right now. Timo Meier is $6 million. He's playing like an $11 million forward. Logan Couture is making $8 million. He's playing like a $6.9 million.
See,
not that bad.
I don't hate on that though.
No.
Oh, we could have saved $1 million, but no, just
Jonathan Dolan making $800,000. He's playing like a $2.6 million player.
Yeah.
Hurdle salary $5.6 million. He's playing like a $9.6 million. He's underpaid.
Yeah.
But a lot of these guys are underpaid. Yeah, we have some that are over, but there's a lot. Barabanov.
Okay, go ahead.
Barabanov, $1 million salary. He's playing like a $4.3 million player.
That's almost a Kevin LeBanc.
Right. Not quite. Who else you want it?
No, but okay, the point again is you say pay the player what they're worth. Dude, if we did, we'd be paying a whole lot more, right? If we paid everybody 1 year contracts what they're actually worth every single year, you just read off a whole bunch of guys that you'd be paying $10 million plus.
You want to hear Kevin LeBanc?
Oh boy.
His salary is 4.7.
I'm so scared.
His market value is 3.2.
Really?
That's not that bad. He hasn't played a lot this season.
I was going to say, does that factor in that he's missed games?
It's based on what he's done this season. He's playing like a $3.2 million forward.
Well, I hope other teams see it that way, because I wouldn't mind making a trade to get a $3-point-something million forward off of the books.
Right.
Sorry, it's 4.7 really, but get
value
back for that guy.
Last one, because this guy has been in trade talks. Jacob Middleton.
Yes.
He's getting paid $700,000.
Okay. You already know the answer. I was going to say we should probably guess on this. I would love to give it to the community to guess, but we know with the lag and everything, it's going to be a while back. So what's he worth according to them?
He's playing like a $4.1 million defenseman.
See, and again,
that's value.
That's value. So you could pay that player the 4.1 what he's worth, right? What he's currently worth. You could do that, but then you're kind of handcuffed even more with the cap. So there are certain guys, and we always focus on the guys that are underperforming, right? We always focus on those guys. But there are lots of players in the team that are on entry-level contracts or on cheap deals because they don't really have the NHL experience, but they're stepping up in a very big way. So in a sense, it kind of all ends up balancing out, right? So while I agree that you need to pay a player what they're worth, again, you're paying them what they're worth from the start of that contract. You can project what you think they're going to be worth later on, but that only goes so far. And especially when they're helping you out with cap in previous seasons, taking a hit, team-friendly discounts, you have to kind of take that into account when you're structuring that next contract, I think.
Kellen Foster, I actually would like to know what Kane's value is. I just looked it up. His salary, because he had to get bonuses and stuff, it's $2.1 million.
Okay.
His market value, 7.5.
What was he making again with the Sharks?
Was it 7.7?
It was 7.
Or 7?
It was
7
7
even?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Say what you want. Say what you want. As a player, for point production, Doug Wilson had that one right. He had it right.
Since I have Edmonton open, Connor McDavid, this
God.
is just fun. He makes $12.5 million. I think he's the highest paid forward in the league.
Yes, he is.
His market value
is higher.
19.4. He's a cheat code. He's a human cheat code.
Okay, so
Draisaitl.
Yeah, Draisaitl. The last one.
He makes $8.5 million.
Okay, sorry.
I'll get there in a second.
Yeah, we'll get there,
We'll
Lundy.
do one more, Lundy. Just
we
because
had
Lundy.
a new Braun, of course.
All right, Draisaitl, $8.5 million is the
Yes.
salary. He's playing 15.3. It's just
So okay,
a cheat.
let's go back to the
It's a
last
cheat.
guy saying you got to pay him what they're worth. So you got to pay Connor like 19, and you got to pay Draisaitl 15.
then you have nobody. You have nobody.
The rest of your squad is an AHL squad. They're having a hard enough time as it is with them getting paid what they're getting paid currently, which is still a generous amount.
Yeah.
And they have no depth. So yes and no. Oh, Dylan and what are Jumbo and Bronze? He wants to know. But
I got Braun right here.
Okay, there you go.
I'll give me a second for
All
Jumbo. He's making 1.8. His market value is 1.3.
okay, that's
bad.
still respectable. Yeah,
Not bad.
That's not bad.
All right, I'll pull up Florida and I'll pull up Thornton. Pavelski's. All right, Joe Thornton. He's making 800,000. His market value is 600,000. Not a huge dip.
Yeah, it's whatever.
Cogliano is actually negative.
What?
Yeah, his market value, but the system isn't.
It's designed more for goals and points
and
yeah,
stuff,
okay,
so
all right,
it's not quite
taking into
perfect.
account. Okay, yeah.
Who's the last one I was going to look at?
Pavs.
Pavs. All right, Pavs is going to be high.
He's gonna be high. Yeah.
So he just signed an extension.
Yes. he
1
did.
year. 1 year extension. So he's going to be playing Dallas again. His salary is $7 million. His market value is 12.9.
Pavelski's getting should be getting Connor McDavid money.
Yeah.
Right.
Right? I mean,
Not projected McDavid money, but actual McDavid money.
this is the sad thing. He's 12.9. The highest on the Sharks is Timo Meyer at 11.1.
How do people look this up?
Oh yeah.
This is on The Athletic. This is a special thing. This is not from Corey.
Yeah.
Corey helped with it for the Shark stuff, but this was from Don. His name is a lot of C's and Z's. Yes.
Leshizin. Not gonna work anymore.
Leshizin, yeah. And Shannon Goldman helped on it too. So those two people put these cards together. They do it for every team. I mean, I don't want to show everything that they do because it's behind a paywall,
right.
and I did kind of give off a lot here, but it's awesome. It's pretty cool because it looks like they basically said I loved player hockey cards growing up, so they put all of their stats, what they're kind of the whole model is like expected goals for when they're on the ice, all kinds of different things. So, but again, it's based more on scoring than it is like penalty killers like Cogliano. So those guys are going to get hurt a little bit, but it's pretty cool. It's cool to see. It's visually very pleasing because it looks like a player card. They have a picture of the player with all of their stats, like you'd flip over the card, and then it gives you all that stats.
Yeah, I can't imagine anybody at the Athletic gets upset. I mean, we're pumping them up right now, right? So we'll say it again. If you're not a member of the Athletic, it's definitely worth the cost of the cup of coffee that you would have had.
Lundy just said, "I got my answer. I don't need the site anymore." However, they update it. They update it.
They do
during the season. It's not just a one and done. So it gets updated as like certain players are getting hotter and or colder.
It is alive. It is evolving ever so much. So check out the Athletic. It's actually really good stuff. And again, with Kevin Kurz no longer covering the Sharks, he's with the Islanders now. You've got Corey Massasack, who is doing the writing for the San Jose Sharks. A different voice, a different way of doing things. Kevin was a little less on the numbers side, and Corey is very much into the statistics.
Right.
So if that's the way that you kind of like to see things, he's definitely up your alley. And again, some people just for whatever reason didn't really like Kevin. I liked Kevin. I think he was a good guy. But if you just didn't like Kevin, it's a different voice. So maybe give that a go. You might enjoy it.
And if you want to check out Corey, we interviewed him back in December, right before he moved out here. So he was still living in, was it Long Island? I think it was Long Island or New Jersey.
You drove him back to his hotel?
Yeah.
He's like, I got to get an Uber.
Yeah.
I got to get an Uber. Nah, we'll drive it.
Yeah. Like, dude,
Good guy, really
I
good guy.
didn't realize at the time he didn't
Yeah.
have a car because he wasn't living here, so he had Ubered all the way over. I'm like, dude, I'll drive you home.
Yeah,
Don't worry about
yeah.
it. Really nice guy, and he loves food. He's a foodie.
Oh.
So if anyone has recommendations on food, he's always asking. You can tweet him up and hit him up and say, hey, this spot's really good
Yeah.
in San Jose. You should
Yeah.
check it out. I think he's living around the Willow Glen area, so
Nice.
he wanted to be close to downtown.
So do us a favor, okay? If you would like to follow Corey on Twitter, please hit that follow button and then tweet at him or at us at the same time or whatever, and just let him know, hey, following you now, courtesy of the Fin Factor.
Sure.
Let him know.
Yeah.
Let him know we're funneling some views his way.
Perfect.
There you go. Good stuff. Okay. And you can funnel some views our way by, again, hitting that share button, retweeting. God, I'm good at this. Hitting the share button, retweet us out there, get us out there. If you're not subscribed to the channel, please go ahead and hit the subscription button there and hit the notification bell. When we go live, you'll see us going live, and we'll all be able to have our nice
So
conversations.
if you're a fan of the show and you know some other Sharks fans that don't know about
Yeah.
us, feel free to send it their way and see if they also enjoy it and get them to subscribe.
Absolutely. And if they're not enjoying it, force them to.
Watch
If you're enjoying the show, please hit the like button as well. That's all well and good. If you don't like the show, well, I mean, we don't really like you either. So,
Wow.
I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
What's Paul's card say?
What's Paul? Yeah, what does
Yeah.
my card say?
Paul's a negative.
I'm a
value,
negative.
for sure.
For sure. I'm sorry, guys.
Wah, wah.
Maybe that'll be the next time we do a roll call. Do you guys want
What's
me?
our value?
What's our value?
Our salary is 0. It's actually negative. Our salaries are negative.
It is.
What's
All
our
right.
value? Yeah.
Well, any other comments, questions we can do here before we close out? Or
I don't know. This is all the stuff about the cards and stuff.
people just asking, how about this player? How about this player?
Yeah. Yeah, they were asking for
Check out The Athletic. You can link them up for yourself. And again, I think it's worth the cost. So
Yeah.
they're also always running sales and stuff too. So keep an eye out for those.
Right.
Good. Anything else? We're done.
I think we're done.
Guys, again, thank you so much for tuning in. I'm not going to give you the whole spiel again about going to the store and buying all of our stuff, although I'm just going to say it again, go to our store and buy all our stuff. And I just want to say again, thank you for tuning in. We really do enjoy doing the comments and everything with you guys, doing it live. It's great. Lundy, thank you so much for supporting the show with the Super Chat. Appreciate you every single time, buddy. Thank you so much. For Super Producer Jason, I'm Paul,
And I'm Aaron.
and we will see you guys.
Next.
No.
No, not next week.
Trade deadline if there's trades.
Oh, yeah. If there's any trade, we should say that. If
Yeah.
there's any trades, we're going to be covering them with a live.
Just Paul.
Just Paul. I'm going to be leaving. Well, I'm leaving Sunday, so if anything happens this week, I'll be here. But I'm gone all next week, so
Paul's like,
So I will see you
Yeah.
guys.
next week.
At some point next week.
Yeah.
We'll figure it out. If there's a trade to announce, obviously it's going to be a little more urgent, and we'll do it then. But otherwise, it looks like I might be flying solo for the next week here. So I'll see you guys whenever I do. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thanks for tuning in. If you like this episode, check out our other content, especially interviews. You can interact with us directly through social media at The Fin Factor and on Instagram at Fin Factor. And don't forget to join our live streams on YouTube.
Visit our website at thefinfactor.com, where you'll find all of our episodes as videos or podcasts. You'll also find our exclusive merchandise to help support our show.